All right, Will Manso is on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline, sports anchor, reporter at Local 10 here in Miami. You see him on the Heat broadcasts on FanDuel Sports Network, son. What do you want to talk about? Dolphins, Canes? What floats your boat, Will?
The weather. How about that? It's beautiful. I'm standing outside a Dolphins camp and I'm looking at this blue sky going, you know what? We may have bad football, but, man, we've got great weather.
That's a great outlook on that. So I've been saying to Crowder and Solana all show, like Sunday to me is going to be such an exercise in the human psyche because you're walking around there at the Dolphins facility. Their GM has been fired. They've traded Jalen Phillips. We know other players are on the trade block. The season has been a failure. So their incarnation is a failure. Their coach is ostensibly coaching for his job. Like the vibe there has to be, I don't know, unreal.
I mean, did you and I will say that you and I did not talk prior to this, but you know that I asked McDaniel that exact question today, and I phrased it in just about the same way. I said, Mike,
we're a couple of guys. I mean, you have to be very high in your verbal aptitude. Yeah.
I said, Mike, I don't mean to be dramatic, but you're 2-7. The GM just got fired. Your job is on the line. You're trading players. It appears your owner's headed to a rebuild. How in the world do you what even is this? Like, how do you keep moving forward to focus on a football game? And he said, the honest answer is because it's my job, because we have guys in this locker room and leaders that have to believe. And I know, look, it's a lot of cliche stuff, but Alec Giggold sort of was asked a similar question, and he said, we get paychecks. We're paid. We have contracts. We have to play hard. Now, that's easier said than done when you see all these changes. You know, if you're a coach knowing that you may not be here, when your players knowing that you're probably rebuilding, it's tough to focus. And then you've got the Buffalo Bills coming to town in that machine. So it's hard right now, guys, to find anything positive here with the Dolphins because everything seems to be trending in a rebuild direction.
And Will, speaking about McDaniel's, coaching for his job, is Tua playing for his job? Like, can he be impressive enough? Because now there's rumors, Hoch read it earlier where, like, there's options for them to get rid of him, pick up some of his salary, try to use him as a stopgap for other teams, all that stuff. Is he playing to stay or is he just trying to get good film?
I mean, look, McDaniel was asked a similar question to that, Channing, and he was asked straight up, would you consider benching him? Because that was the report this weekend from what I think it was NFL Network. And McDaniel said, that's the furthest thing from my mind right now. He's my franchise quarterback. He's our best option right now for this game against Buffalo. But for me to speculate on what I could do down the road is silly. So I think he left the door pretty open that, there's a possibility that as this goes on, if the Dolphins are 2-9, 2-10, 2-11, 3-10, whatever the case may be, that they may want to get a look at one of their younger quarterbacks, most likely Quinn Ewers, right? I mean, you kind of know what you have in Zach Wilson. So I do think he's playing for his future. We know the guarantee he has next year in his contract. Financially, obviously, Tua's in good shape. He's made a lot of money. He's got more money coming. But as far as the quarterback of the future, I think it's safe to say, guys, that he's not the quarterback of the future here, no matter what his contract says.
Will, how do you think the Dolphins should approach this, though? And I know there's a lot of different ways that they can. But, I mean, if they're going to clean house, shouldn't they just clean house here? I think McDaniel's a good dude, and I think he's a great play caller. He might even, be a great NFL head coach. But, I mean, do we really want to do this again where it's like the GM head coach carousel where you fire one, you keep the other, and you're hoping for a collaborative process with the new GM? Like, if they're going to clean house and they're looking at ways or examining ways to get rid of Tua as well, shouldn't they just clean house completely, everybody?
Yes. The answer is yes, but here's the caveat to that. It's Stephen Ross, and he's the owner, and when you're the owner, you're the boss, and you can make the decisions. In a perfect world, whoever the general manager he hires, where it's Champ Kelly becomes from interim to full-time, or he hires someone else, that person is going to bring in their head coach. They should not be forced Mike McDaniel on them just because Stephen Ross wants it. But you can't discount the possibility that could happen because we've seen it happen before. We've seen that strange dynamic before already in this franchise during Ross's tenure as owner. So you can't discount the fact it happens. You're right. In a perfect world, the new general manager decides who the next head coach is. I like Mike. I think Mike's got a future in the NFL, whether it's a head coach, probably not, but certainly as an offensive mind, he's well respected. but results matter, and the process of this culture and all the talk matters, and it's obviously gone in the wrong direction. I think it's pretty clear that he will not be the head coach moving forward, but you can't discount the possibility because of Stephen Ross's admiration for him that he could say to Champ Kelly, hey, you're going to stay our GM, but let's make this work with Mike. I think he's still the guy.
And well, that the new approach or the seeing, whatever the tea leaves, can't you get more aggressive? Couldn't you call more blitzes? Couldn't you, do more innovative stuff offensively? Like, I've already been given up on. Let me go out here and try to prove something aggressively other than just slowly run the ball and play cover 4 and not mess up. Go show that you know what the hell you're doing, because, hell, we're losing anyway.
I think can I tell you something? That's a good point, Cheney, because I do think the one thing that came out of this weekend was a little clarity. I asked Mike today straight up, I said, were you given assurances by Stephen Ross that you're going to be the head coach the rest of the season? And he danced around the question. He didn't answer it. He basically started to answer it, but then said, look, my focus, the only focus should be and will be preparing for a very tough team in the Buffalo Bills. But to your point, though, if he does have some sort of assurance, right, which I think it seems to agree that is the case for the rest of this season, then go out and just coach your ass off. Just try different things. Go out there and just be different, just to show that, hey, I'm not going to quit on this just because I might lose my job. I'm going to go out and I'm going to find ways with whatever mess you leave behind post-trade deadline of players. And trust me, I think there will be a lot more moves in the next 24 hours. Whatever happens next, I'm going to show you that I can coach and not just quit on this job because it doesn't seem like the future is me.
That's right. Run Tua. Naked boots for Tua. Run toe for toe with Josh Allen on Sunday. If Josh Allen lowers his shoulder, Tua lowers his shoulder.
Wildcat Tua.
Tua.
Yeah. Put him at DB.
Convert him to tight end. Show them all, Mike. Can you put into words, Will, what this Kane season has become after losing to Louisville and then SMU? We've seen this movie before. It didn't feel like we were going to see it this time.
And you hit the nail on the head. I honestly am more surprised that this is happening than ever in the last decade or so, but it's certainly the Mario Cristobal era, because I thought Mario was doing a very good job, and I still do think he's doing a good job at accumulating talent and recruiting and bringing some sort of respect level back to Miami as far as the talent level, the talk of first-round picks and being able to get high-end quarterbacks in the portal and all the things that he's done. But none of that matters if you don't win and win big. And right now, look, year 1, year 2, you give him a pass. Year 3, last year, you could say you didn't get a defense. Now you get a good defensive coordinator. You seem to have a good overall team, and yet you're losing games in the same way. And at some point, when the players are all different, right, and the guys you're bringing are all different, you have to look at the one constant, and the one constant is the coaching, and the one constant is Mario Cristobal. And so he said this weekend, I don't know if you guys heard it, he was talking about, we can't get all the rats out there, the rat poison of the rat gnawing at you and talking. And I'm sorry, man. Look, I can blame the media for a lot of things, and I'm in the media. We all are. Sometimes we probably take things a little too far with talk and gossip and drama. Sure. But none of this is drama. This is reality. This team can't find a way to win big games and loses these ACC games that they should win when they have more talented opponent. So if you want to start blaming people, look in the mirror. Mario Cristobal has to change his way and be more innovative. Channing talked about Mike McDaniel just trying whatever. Mario has to start trusting that talent that he has, trusting the coaching that he has, and stop playing so close to the vest and so close to this whole, grind it out, slow football, win the fourth quarter kind of stuff. Trust your players and your coaches, because right now he's coaching not to lose instead of coaching to win. And the reality is coaching not to lose is costing them losses.
Well, it was that 25 seconds left to get 50 yards. I've seen 3 touchdowns scored in 25 seconds in college.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous, kneeling on that one.
It's and so many of the things he does are so conservative. And again, because he is from the old school of you don't want to do anything to ruin your chance to win, right? You want to do things right. I get it. But to me, it's what's the harm? And just, okay, we got 25 seconds of timeout. Flip the ball out to Malachi Tony and said, Malachi, go run. See if you can find a hole and get 30, 40 yards. You don't have to throw the ball, chuck it 40 yards down the field, but do something to play for overtime, to play for field goals, to get conservative like we've seen the way they've done over the last few years in spots, is the brand of football that brings what we're seeing, which is, not winning. And 9-2, 10-2 records, that's great. But Mario was brought here to compete for ACC titles. 4 years in, they still haven't played an ACC title game, and it sure as heck doesn't look like they're going to play in one this year.
Hey, Will, just because it happened last night, I love your tweet about the Heat game. Basically, Norman Powell, come save us. Hopefully that happens tonight. But really quickly about Kel'el Ware, like, is this going to end up with Niko Jovic in the starting lineup or Jaime in the starting lineup? Because it just doesn't look like Spo's loving what Kel'el's putting out there.
Yeah. I try to read the tea leaves on this, and they're going to say all the things they want about Kel'el and motivating him stuff. There's a disconnect there with Spo and Kel'el, and I don't think that's a strange thing to say or a speculative thing to say. There's clearly a disconnect, and I don't mean in personality. I mean in just what Spo wants from Kel'el that he's not there yet, because we've seen it too often. The proof is in the pudding. Like Spo, between the benching last night after the first few minutes, the stuff he said in the offseason, remember the summer league and in the preseason when he had big games and he said he wanted more from him. Spo wants Kel'el to get to a level that right now Kel'el's not at. And he's still young, and they're not going to give up on him. But I do think that they're not also just going to force feed him in there until he figures things out. And he's young enough and talented enough too. I like Kel'el. I know they do too. But I do think we're going to see kind of a pause there until he starts to figure things out and what they want from him.
Will Manso from Local 10 and FanDuel Sports Network, son. Thank you, Will.
Anytime, guys.
There you go. Will Manso.